Just asking where are we gonna get the donuts?
I told you. When are you gonna get used to being disappointed? It's gonna have to be you or me who go get him later. He done made his choice, he's not gonna take you.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm tired of that shit too. I'm tired of him saying he's gonna do stuff for my kids, and then he just, oh, maybe then, maybe that. Disappointment, disappointment. Yo, we up in this motel, homeless, and you can't just take your daughter to a freaking store to get some donuts when you told her you were gonna do it?
The resilient Jenkins broke up. Did you see Stephanie's live where she said that she is basically no longer with Drew? She was saying that she only has her, God, and her kids. She didn't mention Drew at all. And if you remember, she has been throwing so much shade at Drew on her Facebook. And ever since stuff started to go down the hill with Desiree, she really had been trying to separate herself from him because he's been bringing down like any chance at her having a social media career. During her live, she was saying that a woman gets tired of asking a man for the same thing over and over and over before they finally break and no longer want to be with you. She was also saying that she's having a hard time trying to separate herself from the situation. So I don't know if she's admitting that she's in a trauma bond, but she's been saying that for a long time she has been trying to leave, but she couldn't figure out how to do it. She also says that this is the chance for people who said that they would have her back if she left him to actually have her back, because she's saying, again, she's having a hard time leaving. She said, where's the community who said that they would be here for me? Y'all said I have a community. Like, it's time to show up and show out. But a lot of people are saying that they think that this is rage bait because she has said stuff like this before and never left him. They think that she's doing this so that they can maybe raise money for their fight against Desiree's lawyer, and that they're doing this so they can finally get that house that they want, that they're going to pretend that they separated, that they're going to pretend that they're not living together, but at the end of the day they are going to be living together, because this will make sense because she was making posts about Drew and how he's on the spectrum, and she said that she would never leave him because she feels like she wants to save him and like she owes it to him to stick with him no matter what, especially since he struggles with being on the spectrum, that she would feel so bad just abandoning him. But what do you think? Do you think that they finally like left each other? Do you think she finally got fed up? Because he has been treating her like this for a long time. A lot of her old posts, she would say he doesn't pay attention to them, that he would rather game and spend time with their family. Or do you think that they're just rage baiting to try to raise money?
Oh, let's really talk about Stephanie Jenkins. Because at this point, it's not just about her struggles anymore. It's about the choices she's making that are actively harming her kids. And honestly, it's getting harder to ignore. She's so wrapped up in playing the trauma storyteller that she's completely sidelined the very real, very urgent issues right in front of her. Take the latest video. Instead of addressing the fact that her kids are crammed into a motel room like sardines, or that she's hauling 6 people in a car that legally shouldn't even fit them. Hello, safety hazard. She's rambling about how she was disciplined as a kid. Belts, slaps, glue sticks. Okay, cool. But what does that have to do with the fact that her own children are living in conditions that would make CPS side-eye? It's like she's using her past as a shield to deflect from the mess she's creating in the present. And let's be real. This isn't just bad parenting. This is negligence. You don't get to cry healing journey while your kids are sleeping in a room with 0 space, no stability, and literal laws being broken because you can't be bothered to get a vehicle that fits your whole family. But sure, keep dropping those dramatic childhood stories for sympathy clicks, because nothing says I'm a responsible parent like prioritizing TikTok content over your kids' basic needs. At this point, it's not even about her trauma anymore. It's about the fact that she's using it as an excuse to avoid accountability. She wants to paint herself and Drew as survivors, but what about the kids stuck in the backseat of this chaos? When does their safety and well-being come first? But hey, maybe we'll get another tearful monologue about her past while the kids are squeezed into that illegal car setup. Can't wait for the next installment of Trauma Talks while my kids sit in unsafe conditions. Stick around, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you're watching until the end. We have a lot more to unpack.
What's up, Can I hang out with you for a little? Promise I won't be in the video.
It's not about that.
So these videos are from Stephanie's live on YouTube yesterday, and honestly these broke my freaking heart because the girls just want to spend time with her, and we see that time and time again. But anyway, keep watching and just watch these interactions she has with her daughters during these lives.
If I'm just going to sit here and conversate with you, then I'm going to have to just turn it back off.
You can still talk to your video.
You honestly should shut it off because these girls are craving your attention, especially the older one. You already saw her little note that said that she feels left out. So what are you doing? They want your attention, and we see it over and over again.
It's not about that, Eddie. You and your sister need to go find something to do. Go play or go back inside.
Yes, I am.
they supposed to go? I mean, honestly, there's nowhere to go. You guys are in one little tiny room and you're constantly on them about being quiet or doing this or doing that. Where are they supposed to go, Stephanie? This shit is so sad. Keep watching because there's more.
What's up, baby girl?
You done making videos yet?
Not quite yet. Look, her hair's getting pretty long. Her hair's growing faster than Lila's.
That's cool.
She looks a ton like you.
At least can you continue your videos?
It's funny how you guys don't ever care that I'm doing something with my phone except when it's online.
You continue the video, but can we stay here with you?
Nope, I'll go ahead and turn it off.
What?
Yep.
Why?
Because I don't generally have you guys in the lives like that. I'm gonna go, okay? I'll talk to you guys later.
I would love to know what y'all think about this because I just think it's really freaking sad, and I hope that these girls get the attention that they really want from her very soon.
Let's be real, Stephanie Jenkins isn't just failing at responsible parenting, she's rewriting the definition of it in the worst way possible. What she's passing off as strength is just a well-packaged distraction from the fact that her kids are living in conditions that would make any sane person cringe. And the worst part? She's monetizing it. Her paid subscription page is where the whole thing really crosses the line. These aren't just casual followers dropping a like. They're real people, many of them parents themselves, who actually thought their money was going toward helping this family improve. They believed they were supporting progress, stable housing, better circumstances for the kids, actual forward movement. But what are they getting instead? Vague trauma dumps, deflection, and absolutely zero accountability. Where's the proof that any of this money is going toward a real home for those kids? Where's the plan, the actual plan, to get them out of that motel room and into a safe, stable environment? Instead of answers, her supporters are left with cryptic updates and emotional monologues that go nowhere. It's starting to feel less like a recovery journey and more like a never-ending pity party, one that conveniently ignores the fact that innocent children are stuck in the middle of it. People signed up for honesty, for action, for change. They didn't sign up to fund a performative spiral while the kids suffer in the background. At this point, it's not just disappointing, it's borderline exploitative. How long can she keep spinning her past trauma as an excuse for present-day neglect before people wake up and realize they've been bankrolling a disaster? And let's not forget, this isn't just about her anymore. Every dollar sent her way under the guise of helping the family is essentially enabling this cycle. If she really cared about progress, she'd be showing receipts, proof of apartment hunting, school enrollment, anything that proves she's working towards stability. But so far, crickets. Just more stories, more deflection, and a whole lot of people wondering if they've been played. At what point does this stop being a struggle and start being a choice? Because right now, it looks a whole lot like she's choosing the drama over her kids' well-being, and her subscribers are footing the bill.
You know that.
I don't think,
And
for me, it doesn't come down to the job thing, because I've never been the type of woman that feels like there has to be, the man has to be the provider in the situation. Like, I think that the roles can be reversed, and
right, but I have to. But I'm not.
fine. But there has to be
But I'm not.
that equal support at home. I have to be able to.
Like in your eyes, and I'm not gonna not agree. In my eyes, I thought I was, but there's two perspectives.
Like, I try to be a little understanding that maybe it's like a pattern thing for you with the autism, and like, I don't know, video games sometimes you have to finish the task. I'm not sure how to word this, but I'm just saying I try to be understanding and put in that perspective for you. But like your family, in the meantime, your lady's stressed and trying to get dinner done with the toddler running around, the baby's crying, and the 10-year-old is the one taking care of the baby. She's stressed out. All I'm saying is, this is vulnerable to me. People are gonna go use these videos. I told you I built this. I've been working on this. He keeps yanking my hair. something that I've been trying to do for me and the girls since before me and you met.
Oh, they're saying why I can't. I'll let you guys know why I can't get a job. Or don't. It's not that I don't. It's that I don't want to. I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't like being somewhere I don't want to be for an extended period of time. And people be having attitudes. Customers be having attitudes, and I don't. I don't like to deal with it. So I'll just walk out. I will not show up the next day.
Stephanie once again revisited the same story. Strict parents, beatings with belts, harsh punishments over little things. And yes, the infamous glue stick made another appearance. She brought it up again as if that alone explained her choices now, like her past somehow excuses the present. But reliving old wounds doesn't protect her kids today. These emotional monologues do nothing to solve the very real problems her children are facing right now. The people subscribing to her content weren't looking for a personal memoir. They signed up for updates, for progress, for signs that change was finally happening. Instead, what they've been given are more deflections, more excuses, and a troubling tendency to use old pain as a shield against current responsibility. One of Stephanie's favorite talking points is how she and Drew became parents too young and never got the chance to truly develop as individuals. According to her, they missed out on self-discovery, and now they're just doing what they can. But that perspective leaves out a harsh truth. Kids don't ask to come into this world. Once you become a parent, your needs take a back seat. Your child's well-being has to come first. Claiming, well, at least I don't hit them, doesn't cut it. Because trauma isn't just physical. It can be the emotional toll of instability. It's the damage done by neglect, by inconsistency, by growing up in an environment where structure and safety are missing.
Drew Jenkins said that he will not be trying to keep Deshaun if him and Stephanie break up. Let's talk about it because a lot has happened since this morning and we need to catch up so that we can be on the same page. So if you didn't know, this morning Stephanie was on live basically saying that she was done with Drew, that she only has her, God, and her kids, and she even made a comment to her daughter that you need to get used to being disappointed, baby girl, because that's all that happens around here, which is insane, by the way. So she was basically single, right? Only to come back on live hours later to talk about her relationship problems with Drew with us. So she was basically telling him why he wouldn't get a job, why he doesn't help out at home, and he was just giving all of his excuses as he always does, right? He said he doesn't want a job because he does not like being told what to do, and he does not like putting up with people's attitudes, whether it's a customer, whether it's management. He said he will walk out if people give him lip. Stephanie then said that she does not mind being a provider. She does not mind that she has to get 3 jobs as long as he could support her with the kids back home. But she says that she can't even trust him to take care of their children back home because he will literally be in his world so bad, not helping her, that their 10-year-old daughter is the one who has to take care of their baby. Steph said that she will be making dinner, the baby will be crying, the toddler will be pulling at her, and the 10-year-old daughter is the only one helping her with the kids, while Drew sits on his ass and finishes his war zone. So she's hit a brick wall here. She can't be a provider because he won't watch the kids, and he won't be a provider because he doesn't like being told what to do. Her literal only option is to leave, right? And she was telling him this, and that's when he replied, Stephanie, I am not holding you hostage. You are choosing to be here. Remember that. And she agreed. She's like, yes, I'm having a hard time leaving because I want to make it work for the kids. It also upset her that Drew tells her that if Steph leaves, he's not going to make an effort to fight for his son, Deshaun, which is insane because why would you want to be with a man who is openly admitting to you that he wants nothing to do with his son if you're not in the picture? Steph was also claiming that the only reason that she stayed so long is because she is the only one in the relationship who is putting an effort into giving Deshaun a good life, which I can believe that part because Drew does absolutely nothing. If Steph does the bare minimum, Drew, the bar's in hell. The bar is in hell. A lot of people really think that this whole they broke up thing was just for clicks and views to raise money because, again, in the morning she said they broke up and then hours later they were back together working on their issues, and it seemed like she's not going anywhere. So let me know what you think down below about this Resilient Chicken updates, and let me know if I missed anything or if anything has happened since then because this family is on a roller coaster.
Right now, her children aren't just uncomfortable. They're at risk. They don't have privacy. They don't have a space to call their own. They don't have any real routine or reliable care. And that kind of instability doesn't just fade away. It lingers. It shapes who they become. So, when Stephanie says she's breaking generational trauma, it's fair to ask, what exactly is being broken? Because from the outside, it looks like one type of suffering has just been swapped out for another. Take her toddler, Bua, for example. Stephanie has mentioned she thinks he might be on the spectrum. She said he has strong reactions when doors are closed. Bathrooms, refrigerators, anything. He throws tantrums, screams, struggles to self-regulate. But what has actually been done to support him? There's been no formal evaluation, no steps towards speech or occupational therapy, no conversations with pediatric specialists, not even the beginning stages of reaching out to early intervention services. He hasn't been seen by a developmental expert. there's been zero visible movement toward getting real answers or real help. Bua's day-to-day life is shockingly minimal. He wakes up, gets handed an iPad or pacifier, and is left to roam. That's it. Stephanie claims he loves being outside, but maybe that's because the motel room feels more like a cage than a home. When a toddler would rather sit in gravel than play inside, you have to wonder what that says about the space he's growing up in. Maybe the outdoors is the only place where he feels like he has room to move, room to breathe, room to not be forgotten. And then, there's something even more concerning. Stephanie recently shared that Bua has been hiding food behind his bed. That's not quirky. That's not a phase. That's heartbreaking. It's the kind of behavior that screams unmet needs. It's a silent alarm from a child who doesn't know how else to say something's wrong.
But I have seen a lot of people make videos saying that they think that she wants a better life, that she's trying to leave Drew, all of this stuff. And I want people to understand that is not what they want. They don't want better for themselves. They want to be exactly where they're at, and I can prove it. They've been paid content creators for over 8 months. Now you might be like, Kathy, TikTok isn't consistent income. And you'd be right. For You page income is not consistent income. But do you know what is consistent income? The income that comes from the people that subscribe to her page. She has 432 subscribers. Assuming that all 432 subscribers only have the basic package at a mere $5.39 a month, she's making close to $2,500 a month. And that's only the money on her subscriptions. That's not including the money that she gets from TikTok Shop for Creators, the money that she makes on her videos on the For You page, and the money that she gets from gifts on her lives. That doesn't include the money that she's making on other platforms other than this one. If she wanted to be in a better place, she could be. As a real estate agent in the state of Texas, I can tell you that it is absolutely possible for someone with 6 months of consistent 1099 earnings to qualify for a mortgage. Now, would she qualify for $1 million house? No, absolutely not. But she would be able to qualify for something that would put her and her family in a better situation than what they're in right now. But she knows the second she puts herself in a better situation, people will stop watching, because most people that watch her hate watch her. And then she'll be back to where she was, not making any money on social media because people aren't watching. Y'all are literally enabling her to continue keeping herself and her kids in the squalor that they're living in. Are there people that live in worse situations than them? Absolutely. But they need to stop lying about why they're doing what they're doing. They're not trying to do any better. They just want to continue to get your money.
When a toddler starts hiding food, it's not just a quirky behavior, it's a major emotional red flag. That kind of behavior usually means fear is involved. Fear that there won't be enough food later, fear that someone might take it away, fear that the next meal isn't guaranteed. Now consider the fridge. Stephanie says Bua gets visibly upset when it's closed. That reaction might not be about wanting a snack. It could be rooted in anxiety. For a child his age, the sound of that fridge door clicking shut might feel like a loss of control, a sudden cutoff from something he sees as essential. These aren't just habits, they're signs. They're how a toddler silently signals distress when he doesn't yet have the words to say something is wrong. These are the moments that demand a parent's full attention, moments that should prompt immediate action, calls to professionals, research into resources, something. But Stephanie doesn't appear to notice. Her focus is elsewhere. She's busy revisiting her childhood online or stepping in to defend Drew every time someone criticizes him. And while she's doing that, Bua remains on the sidelines, his emotional needs overlooked, his development stalled, his red flags ignored. The warning signs aren't subtle, they're out in the open. And yet, nothing changes. Stephanie often argues that her parenting is better than her mother's was, but better than my mom isn't the benchmark. That's not the goal. In one of her videos, she recalled how her brother had difficulty speaking as a child and how their mom would withhold things until he pronounced words correctly. Stephanie remembers thinking it was unfair. Looking back, she believes her brother may have had a speech delay that no one took seriously. And she swears she'd never do that to her own child. But if you look at what's actually happening, it's hard to see how the result is any different. Bua still has a pacifier in his mouth most of the day, which only gets in the way of speech development.
Can you get off my freaking shit with that? Please. I'm so tired of that. There's nobody... He's not trying to be freed from anybody. Okay? He's one of the only reasons I still put up with Drew's crap. It's because I low-key wonder what kind of parenting that child's gonna end up with without me in the freaking picture. Mind you, someone was absent for so long until social media was an interest in the matter. How does that show real concern, real love for the child in the first place? I was here by choice. I've done everything for the kid by choice. I've been here. I've made sure he gets to the doctor. I take care of communication with the teachers. I've said all this crap. So it isn't me who needs to keep seeing all these freaking comments. I love that kid with my whole soul. And like I said, he's one of the only reasons I put up with shit as long as I have.
Stephanie isn't forcing him to say words, no, but she's not helping him learn them either. There's no speech therapy, no occupational support, no structure at all. She's not sitting with him regularly, encouraging basic vocabulary, or working through repetition. Instead, his days are filled with isolation. He wanders outside alone, plays in the dirt, or is glued to a screen. There's no intentional effort to build his communication or meet him where he is. That's not support. That's absence. And this is the root of the issue. Parenting well isn't just about avoiding the mistakes your parents made. It's about intentionally doing things better. Saying, "I didn't hit him like my mom hit us," isn't a parenting win. Helping a child grow takes time, research, and real engagement. It means keeping therapy appointments. It means creating routines. It means actively helping your child find their voice, especially if they can't do it alone. So, while Stephanie feels proud for not repeating her mother's behavior, she's missing the bigger picture. Breaking the cycle doesn't stop at, "I didn't do what they did." It's about what you do instead, what new steps you're taking to ensure your child's future is different. And right now, those steps just aren't there. Stephanie isn't moving forward. She's just avoiding the past while standing still in the present. The hard truth is this: emotional neglect leaves deep scars too. Just because no one's raising a hand doesn't mean there's no damage being done.
Pulling up the history of my ex and what I've been through with that motherfucker. I've done my best to be quiet about this, but this is quite frankly not okay. You don't understand the situation. You don't know why I'm still married to him. You have no idea what I went through with that motherfucker. And honestly, the fact that everybody keeps bringing them up, I have to be so loud because my children are screaming right now and I can't speak over them. I'm in the bathroom. The only reason I don't speak on it is because you have no idea how triggering that situation actually is. Ever since I went viral and people can't stop bringing up his freaking name, I've had nothing but PTSD nightmares. Now, maybe you don't understand that. Maybe you've never had somebody wake you up in the middle of the night to do whatever the frick they want to you. Every time I've tried to go to court and fight him, something has been not lining up and hasn't been in my favor. I've done it multiple times. I honestly cannot grasp how many women are the ones coming at me like this. I can't, bro. I can't with this one anymore. You gotta back the fuck off with this shit. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm tired of crying because of you stupid ass trolls, bro. Literally looking like I've aged 85 years in 3 fucking months. I don't give a fuck how over emotional I seem in this because you just don't get it, bro. Seeing his face literally triggers the fuck out of me and y'all don't give a fuck, bro. It's fucking nasty. I don't care if you disagree with my choices in my life. Move the fuck on.
Abuse doesn't always show up as bruises or scars. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it looks like emotional neglect. And that's one of the most harmful yet overlooked forms of abuse there is. It doesn't leave visible marks, but the damage it causes can last for years. It shows up in a child's inability to feel safe, their constant uncertainty, their emotional outbursts or withdrawal. Stephanie admitted, casually, almost like it was a normal part of parenting, that she made her kids sleep on the floor. Not once, not for a night, but for months. In the kitchen, in the living room, as a punishment for damaging their mattresses. And she told that story as if it made sense. Let's be very clear. Forcing children to sleep on hard, cold floors for months is not discipline. It's cruelty. That's not about teaching responsibility. That's about taking away comfort, dignity, and rest. It teaches kids that their most basic needs, sleep, warmth, a safe place to lie down, can be stripped away if they make a mistake. It creates a dynamic where love and care feel conditional. And to make it worse, The only reason those kids finally got new mattresses was because strangers on the internet stepped up. People who had never met them saw what was happening and decided to help. Not their mother, not Drew, outsiders, viewers who saw something deeply wrong and refused to look away. That's not parenting. That's not even survival. That's raising children through charity, hoping the kindness of others will cover the essentials you should be providing yourself. And relying on donations for your child's basic needs. That's not something to quietly accept. It's something to fix. Now, to give a little credit where it's due, Stephanie did finally take her kids to the library. That might not sound like a big deal, but for a family living in one cramped motel room, it matters.
Man is some kind of family that's held me back from really being where I want to be. So right now would be my opportunity to be like, let's go, babies. We going to where my heart desires. You feel me? And I don't get it. Like, why can't there be we can be peaceful about it and you can still be a part of the kids' lives. He doesn't want none of that. He wants all or nothing. And I've been like, can we just take some space? Can we just take some space and try to figure this out? So it's not as much on the kids to have to keep, we're in the same room. The kids are gonna hear us talking about it, hear us arguing. It's not healthy for the children. So I've been like, can we just take some space and figure it out? And he's like, all or nothing. If you leave me, then we're just done. Why, man? Why can't it be like we can work on this, work on ourselves maybe? Y'all think I wasn't prepared for the amount of people that are gonna come at me with the opinions of, we knew it, we told you so, okay, cool. It's my life, not yours, and you're not the one going through the painful stuff, so have a little sympathy maybe. The women's shelters and it's not a DV situation here. I do feel like I'm having the hardest time figuring out how to get out of this situation. That I don't like. All I got on here to say is that it's y'all's time to shine, because y'all kept saying I have a community behind me. So I truly hope that's the case, because like I said, I have nobody. I have my babies and myself and God. And I guess that's all I need. But
people had been begging her for months to take them somewhere, anywhere, so they could feel like normal kids. A library, a park, a museum, just a moment of peace away from the chaos. So, yes, it was a step in the right direction, but even that small win came with major issues. She brought a baby and 3 of the older kids with her, while leaving Bawa home with Drew. That's 4 children in a 5-seater sedan. Anyone with basic parenting knowledge knows that math doesn't work. A standard car like that can't safely and legally carry that many children, especially when one of them needs a baby seat. Someone likely ended up squished in the back without proper restraints. Or worse, one of the kids may have been riding up front. And no child belongs in the front seat of a car. The risks are real. If there's a crash, the airbag alone could cause serious harm. Or worse, it's not just a bad decision, it's a safety violation, a legal issue, a mistake that puts children directly in harm's way. And yet again, it's a sign that even when Stephanie tries to do something right, the follow-through is dangerously careless.
Stephanie Jenkins posted a new video, and apparently she loves her man now. She loves her man again. She's writing essays upon essays on the screen, talking about how a happy and healthy home requires parents that are working towards progressing. She always talks about progress, and progress, we don't see it. There is no progress. You are just continuing to live in that situation. What I really didn't like about that video that she just posted too is the fact that she calls her man's job gig work. He's delivering Uber. That's perfectly fine. We like a man that has a job. But I really thought she was going to leave him. I was really hoping that she was going to join Team Desiree and Team Arlita, get her stuff together, and repeat after me. She was going to give Deshaun back to his mom. Again, give Deshaun back to his mom. And I really would like to see her like leave that zero and just start a new life. Get a home and build yourself. And like it'll be called Life After Drew. I think that would be a great like show and direction to take your life. Not basically standing by your man. This is why you're going to say, well, you're so obsessed with her. This is why I don't like her. She does good things in that video. She does love her children. She combs their hair. She takes care of them, at least the girls, right? But she refuses to get ahead and put her kids in a better situation just to keep her man. She knows her man doesn't want to work, doesn't want to have a job, is only there and is only taking care of his kids because Stephanie Jenkins is making him take care of his kids. He admitted he would not be there for Deshaun if she wasn't there. Doesn't that tell you, like, his track record? He's had the other baby, right? And I don't want to like put his, they call him Peanut. I don't want to go ahead and give too much information because again, that's our latest baby, 100%, because Drew didn't do anything to get to that title of father. But he's known for abandoning babies. Like, that's what he does. And the first time he didn't leave Drew, he emotionally checked out. Like, yes, or said left Drew. Drew didn't leave Deshaun. Not yet. But he has emotionally checked out. And he's even said that, like, he'll give him back or not want to be with him if Stephanie Jenkins isn't there.
What makes the situation even harder to accept is knowing they had a solution and gave it up. The family once owned a van, a practical, spacious vehicle that could safely transport everyone. It wasn't flashy, but it worked. It was the right fit for a large family with young kids. But instead of holding on to it, they sold it off. And now, they're putting money into maintaining a compact sedan. It's a nice car, sure. Clean, freshly serviced, even fitted with new tires. It's clear they care about keeping it in good shape. But here's the issue. No matter how well it runs, it simply doesn't meet their family's needs. It's too small, too cramped, and too risky. So why continue investing in something that can't safely hold your children? Why pour time and money into a vehicle that forces unsafe travel every time you get on the road? The smarter move would have been to find another used van, something functional, even if it wasn't pretty. But again, Stephanie and Drew seem to prioritize appearances over practicality. They're more focused on what looks good than what actually keeps their kids safe. And unfortunately, that mindset shows up everywhere. In their housing situation, their daily choices, even how they manage transportation. And while they keep chasing image, it's the children who deal with the consequences. Then there's Drew, and the endless string of justifications that follow him.
I hope y'all know that Stephanie's crash out yesterday was a money grab. I guess you would call that a skit. Like, they're basically grifting. They're playing y'all, and y'all are feeding into it. So many of you are feeding into it. It's kind of sad at this point. She's not leaving that man. She's not going to be stuck with 5 kids. Listen to what this woman's saying. She's not leaving that man, okay? Let's get that through our heads. If anything, he'll leave her. He's made it very clear he has no problem leaving her. She's the one that's trying to hold on to the relationship, if anything. I want y'all to actually pay attention to what she says. That's the thing, is y'all hear something that you want to hear and you run with it. Pay attention to what this woman says. She literally was talking about leaving Drew, right? Then immediately mentions her supporters and how they said they would show out if she left him. She just wants money out of you. She just wants money out of you. Like, that's all this is. She saw how much support that Desiree got and how people flooded her GoFundMe. She's jealous and she wants that support. She wants you guys to pay her bills because why? Listen to what Drew said on live. He said he doesn't want to get a job.
Not long ago, he went live and started talking about why he doesn't have a full-time job. He proudly claimed that doing DoorDash part-time brings in more money in 4 hours than most people make in a full 8-hour shift. The way he said it, it sounded like he was bragging. Like this was some kind of financial hack he'd figured out. But viewers weren't impressed. The tone in the comments quickly shifted, and people began asking real questions. Because it wasn't just that Drew didn't have a full-time job, he made it clear he refused to get one. His reason? He said he was needed at home. But needed for what, exactly? He's not homeschooling the kids. He's not cooking meals or managing schedules. He's not dealing with the motel situation. Most of the time, he's either nowhere to be seen or quietly off in the background while Stephanie films. So what's keeping him home that's so important it justifies working part-time while his family struggles? And then, right when people started pushing for answers, Stephanie jumped into a live stream and introduced a new explanation. Drew, she said, is autistic. Just like that, his lack of involvement was reframed as a medical issue, a diagnosis.
He doesn't want to deal with customers. He doesn't like being told what to do. That man is not going to get a job. He's not going to get a job. And that woman makes good money on social media, okay? She makes good money. You can't tell me anything different. Like, as somebody who monetizes her social media, that lady is making what some of y'all's salary is in a year. And you're literally sitting here donating, going to try to go donate money to her. Please be so for real. And that man sitting on his butt, refusing to work. It's not autism. It's not that he has a disability. He just doesn't want to work. And he knows that y'all are going to pay for him to sit there. They know that. That's why they continue to do it. As much as you scream in the comments, as much as you talk shit to them, they're not going to change because y'all are paying for it still, okay? I also am going to say right now, if that woman comes up with any sort of GoFundMe, I am reporting that bitch until it gets taken down. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. She deserves no support. No support. She chose this life. And what really got me, and I think is what really is pissing me off, is when in the live, she mentioned how her 10-year-old has to take care of the baby and the toddler because he doesn't help her and she gets overwhelmed. So they're parentifying that 10-year-old because those two can't stop having children and won't get a job and put them in a better situation. So the fact that these kids are getting parentified is pissing me off. They don't even get to go be with friends. They sit in a fucking motel all day. They're basically all stuck with each other. Deshaun can't even see his mom. They can't go on field trips, and you're parentifying them as well. And then you're sitting there and arguing in front of them. I swear to God, if I see a GoFundMe or Amazon wish list, I'm reporting it. These two need to get it together. She has an option. She can go live with her mom. She has support. The internet is done supporting you. Like, I'm done. And any of you who do, you're dumb as well. You're dummies. Because this lady is manipulative. That man is on rugs. I have a high suspicion she might be using rugs with him as well. And you're basically funding their lifestyle. And these children are being neglected. They're dealing with it. Like, it's not okay. The children need to be just removed at this point and placed somewhere where they're going to be taken care of, because it gets to a fucking point, y'all. She's not a good parent. They're not good parents. Just because you cook and clean doesn't mean anything.
Though, to be clear, there's been no official confirmation, no evaluation, no paperwork, no medical follow-up, no treatment or support plan. Nothing to indicate this is anything more than a convenient label tossed out to shield him from criticism. And that's where it crosses a line, because when you throw around terms like that without any real basis, it doesn't just muddy the conversation. It actively harms people who actually are on the spectrum. There are countless autistic individuals out there working full-time, managing families, pushing through real struggles every day with no excuses. Using autism as a defense for personal avoidance not only disrespects their effort, it downplays the reality of living with that diagnosis. It becomes a smokescreen. Not for understanding, but for avoiding responsibility.
Y'all be falling for that resilient Jenkins shit. Bro, I knew they had a house. I knew they had a freaking house. The whole damn time, I knew they were playing you. Those motherfuckers have been playing your heads and getting in your heads, man. These resilient, that girl she is smart. A smart, manipulative woman. I'm telling you, I knew they had a freaking house this whole time. That last video from the library, they went back to a house. That is not the motel, that is a house. She had a house, bro. She has a house. I'm telling you, that whole motel shit, it's fake. Watch the one video where she said, oh, we're only going to take this to the next motel. Well, why are you leaving the other stuff? Oh, why are you leaving? Yeah, exactly. They had a house the whole time. Yeah, but it's not even about...
When someone uses a serious diagnosis as a shield against criticism or as a convenient way to dodge accountability, it's more than just irresponsible. It's insulting. It takes the real challenges faced by those in the autism community and twists them into a tool for deflection. For the families navigating that reality every day, it's a slap in the face. And the worst part? It teaches the next generation that excuses carry more weight than effort. That when things get tough, you can just create a narrative and avoid the work. This isn't about a diagnosis. This is about two adults, Stephanie and Drew, constantly sidestepping the responsibilities that come with raising children while presenting themselves as victims of circumstance. And in the middle of all that storytelling, the environment they've created keeps deteriorating. Inside their motel room, hazards are everywhere. Electrical cords are stretched across the floor, creating tripping risks. One of the kids sits frighteningly close to appliances that shouldn't even be near children. A deep fryer is tucked into a corner. A hot plate rests on what looks like a makeshift counter. None of this is safe. It's the kind of setup that makes fire marshals nervous and emergency room doctors exhausted. This isn't an occasional mess. This is the everyday reality for those kids. The place they're supposed to feel safe in is the same place where a single mistake, a tipped appliance, a curious hand grabbing the wrong cord, an overheated device could trigger disaster. It's not just unsafe, it's a ticking time bomb. And yet, while all of this is happening, Stephanie is live streaming. She's editing videos, she's staying active on social media, she's telling stories, she's raking in support from followers who buy her items off wish lists, send her money, and boost her platform. She has an audience, she has help, she has reach. But the question remains, why hasn't anything changed? In fact, why are things worse than they were last year? Back then, at least they had a small apartment. It wasn't perfect, but it was more stable than this. Now it's just a cramped motel room, trying and failing to serve as a home.
I was really starting to feel bad for Stephanie Jenkins. I thought she was really going to leave that man, take her kids, and finally do something better for herself. But no, 2 days later, they're back to their same resilient Jenkins ways. Her King Daddy Drew is out doing gig work, while she's in the motel room with all 5 kids, like they didn't just crash out on live the other day. And the only reason I was even feeling bad for Stephanie is because she is the bread maker in that family. So at the end of the day, she was the one taking care of all of those kids. So for just a second, I thought Stephanie might just put the kids' well-being over Drew's. But no, that is never going to happen. Especially after she looked at her daughter and said, "You have to get used to being disappointed." That was absolutely heartbreaking. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the 10-year-old walked up to Stephanie and said, "When are we going to go to donuts?" She looked at her and said, "Oh, Drew said he's not going. You need to get used to being disappointed." But in reality, she could be giving her kids a better life right now without Drew, making plenty of money off of TikTok. She could keep her car and it would actually fit her 4 kids. Deshaun could actually be with his mother. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Stephanie saying she was leaving Drew was just all a ruse to get more views?
There used to be a schedule. Now it's just chaos, barely held together. And it's not because help isn't available. It's not because there's no money coming in. Somewhere along the way, dysfunction became the default. Maybe because it's easier than building something better. Maybe because chaos brings more clicks than calm. But this isn't about money. It's about priorities. It's about choosing to grow instead of sitting in place. Right now, those children are stuck in an unsafe, overstimulating, unstable environment. And every day it stays this way, the emotional and physical impact gets worse. So, what aren't we seeing? This family has received more attention, more outside support, and more second chances than most. And yet, they're still spiraling. Is it simply a series of poor choices? Or is there something deeper at play? Could it be untreated mental health problems? Is addiction involved? Or is it just the comfort of dysfunction, where staying stuck means you never have to step up?
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
Nope.
I'm not sure, maybe. I'm also trying to pay attention to this too.
I'm excited for Easter. Wait, Mommy, did you get that Easter?
Let her be. If she was in her room, would you be talking to her?
No, but I saw her.
Whatever the case, one thing is clear. The ones paying the highest price are the children, and they're running out of time. Let me know what you think in the comments. Is this just bad parenting? Or is there something much darker happening behind the scenes? Thanks for watching, and if you've made it this far, I appreciate your time. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you want to dive deeper into stories like this one, go check out the other videos on the channel. There's always more to uncover.